We recap game number 4 in Edmonton last night of the Western Conference Finals, where Donnie Draisaitl was running around his house late night as the Oilers even the series at 2 games apiece. We'll look at the Stanley Cup postseason after a night off from the association action in this postseason. We're back into the NBA playoffs as we change venues for a second time in the Western Conference Finals. It's game 5 tonight in the Twin Cities between the T-Wolves and the Mavericks. A very robust and full slate on a Wednesday in Major League Baseball. And you bet your bottom dollar if the French Open is playing, we will detail it for you here on this Thursday on the Early Line on SportsGrid.
Oh, yeah, a lot to get to, a lot of guests today, so you might be surprised who's going to show up on the early line, but also, more importantly, profitable night for the boys in the house yesterday. RBI props, game props, side props. We did it all yesterday, BSS, and you know what? We're looking to do it all again because you're right. The NBA is back in our lives. Could we see a Game 6 and an extended series? We'll find out.
2 shows so far this week following Memorial Day, holiday weekend, unofficial start of summer.
Yeah.
And the boys have gone back-to-back with 2 best bet sweeps. We keep that rolling on this Thursday. It was a surprise who our big reunion guest is in hour number 2, but the guy had to spoil it last night. I guess you never bury the lead when Kevin Walsh makes his return to the early line for the first time for a full hour. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time, live right here on the early line. Craig Mish and Pete Jensen in hour number 3 as well. So we start DRS here in the 7 and 7. The headlines you need to know that are the most important around the sports landscape. We start with the action on the ice last night, game number 4 in Edmonton. The Dallas Stars a 2-1 series advantage after taking games 2 and 3, but the Oilers booked as a home ice favorite, and they deliver. Despite Dallas taking an early 2-0 lead, about 5 minutes into the opening period, the Oilers respond, including the 10th playoff goal for Leon Draisaitl, Donnie's cousin, that made it a 4-2 game at the end of the second. Edmonton adds a 5th goal in the third, a 5-2 victory for the Oilers as the Western Conference Finals, like the ECF on the ice in the Stanley Cup postseason, tied at 2 games apiece.
Fantastic game overall. And what do you want to do as the road team? Try to put a clamp on this series, get up early in the opponent's building, which is exactly what the Dallas Stars did yesterday, going up 2-0, as Ben pointed out, in the first 5 minutes, actually scored their first goal within 1 minute into the game to sort of dim that crowd and look bad. Maybe it's a 3-1 series lead. As you go back to Dallas, 5 unanswered goals scored by the Edmonton Oilers, which included that goal in the second period to make it 4-2 by Leon Draisaitl, and also McDavid, 3 assists in this game. Needed your superstars to come up big, down 2-0. You did it. Now we're even. Going back to Dallas, what a series we have.
Donnie Draisaitl with a large smile on his face. Dallas entered game number 4 last night as a hefty minus 260 series outright favorite to win the West and advance to the Stanley Cup final. We head back to Dallas. The Stars still a series outright favorite, but the price only minus 120. Man, the New York Mets late in a baseball game. Things are bad. Tied at 3 yesterday, entering the 8th against the Dodgers in the 3rd and final game of this midweek set. L.A. played 6 in the 8th, including the second home run of the game for Will Smith. A 2-run shot for Shohei Ohtani. He had 3 ribbies yesterday as the Dodgers win big 10-3, but that's not really the main story. Jorge Lopez, a reliever for New York, gets ejected from the game, throws his glove up into the stands as he's walking off the field, badmouths the Amazons after the game, and then got DFA'd, designated for assignment by the Mets after, pretty much meaning he got cut. Things have not been good this year in the heart of New York City, Queens.
No, certainly haven't been here for the Mets. And also, you pointed out, he did throw his glove into the stands, got ejected on a check swing call. And sometimes you say, all right, let's get some passion, let's get some fight in here. But you never want to get in front of the cameras and basically say, we are the worst team out here. And then say, well, if they want me back tomorrow, I'll certainly be here and we'll see what happens. Yeah, the first plane out of town is going to be playing for the Cyclones over there. And what is that, Long Island or Coney Island, whatever island over there in New York we have. But there it is. Yeah, whatever. He's gone.
Listen,
He's gone.
Brooklyn Cyclones game on Coney Island, a great time. But we'll save that for another day. The Mets have now dropped 15 of their last 19 games, swept by the Dodgers, who entered this week in Queens on a 5-game skid. Coaching news around the NBA. Ty Lue signs a 5-year, $70 million extension, nearly $70 mil, but we'll give him $70 mil with the LA Clippers to become one of the highest paid coaches in the association. 4 years in LA for Ty Lue, including leading the Clips to their first ever Western Conference Finals appearance back in 2021. Now the question, Donnie, what happens with Paul George and James Harden this offseason?
Yeah, and that's our questions also. The one thing we do know is the Los Angeles Clippers, chocked with money, about to move into their new building. They got their coach of the future and the present right now. I have no issues with that. There's no salary cap. There's no luxury tax on hiring coaches and a coaching staff. If you feel you got one you want to wrap up for a long time, and Tyronn Lue is a very good coach. I like the move overall. It's crazy to see how much coaches are now making, specifically in the NBA, when we often look and say, how influential is a coach actually when it's really up to the players? But they like Tyronn Lue. They got paid, and here we go.
Tyronn Lue might be one of the longest tenured head coaches by the start of next season in the NBA as well. Donnie, did you know where Brian Keefe was the interim head coach of to end out this season?
I did, hold on. Let me see. Brian Keefe. They removed the interim tag. I'm actually drawing a blank on where it's from, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter it's Washington, right? It's Washington. I didn't cheat, but I sort of came back to me. Yeah. But hey, Brian, look, you got the interim tag removed. Congratulations. At the end of the year, you'll be fired. So you'll probably have an interim tag coming into next year somewhere else as well.
Yes, the Wizards removed the interim tag off Brian Keefe. He is now the permanent head coach. What? What'd you say? He
probably brought into the meeting like, hey, by the way, we're going to remove the interim tag. He's like, damn it, I didn't want that to happen. So
he was just hoping for the interim paycheck. Long-time assistant around the NBA, now will become a permanent full-time head coach in the nation's capital. Big day yesterday for college hoops and the NBA draft. Deadline day where you had to make your intentions clear. Returning to college, staying in the NBA draft. And we've got a lot of talent coming back. Coleman Hawkins, R.J. Davis, Alex Caravan, who will try to lead the three-peat in stores for UConn. Caleb Love says, I'm not done yet. And keep an eye on the Crimson Tide. Mark Sears returns to Tuscaloosa. He'll be back for Alabama and Nate Oates next season.
Yeah, I got questions on this. This is the single worst draft we've ever seen, and guys are going back to college, which means they obviously know they're not ever going to be an NBA player, and they want to enjoy one last year of NIL money before they have to go out and go to Enterprise, rent a car, or whoever hires the NCAA athletes after they're done at this point. But that's what I'm getting out of it. What type of bad advice are we getting? This is a terrible draft. Put your name in the draft. Come on.
But you could maybe make more NIL money than a two-way G League deal. That's what the state of college hoops is right now. All charges dropped yesterday in Louisville against Scottie Scheffler after video surfaced of the actual interaction outside of Valhalla Golf Club about 2 weeks ago. The Louisville Police Department has dropped all charges against Scheffler.
Yeah, and they should. And we've seen nothing to the contrary where he should have been charged with any crime at this point. Good to see that they reverse field, drop the charges, and Scottie Scheffler can go on with his PGA Tour.
Yes, that is the case. And, of course, it wouldn't be a day on the early line if we didn't bring you the 2024 French Open update. Iga Świątek, the hefty favorite in the women's draw, taken to match point by Naomi Osaka yesterday, but she bounces back. That's Świątek. She survives a match point DRS. She is on to the next round. Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness, man. By the way, was that the championship? Is it over today, or do we have more tennis?
No, Świątek will be in the women's final, though. Joe Frizo and myself hoping for that.